Hello everyone, welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host, Ron13, and today we got a twofer. That's right everyone, today we are looking at both Power of the Prime's elita-one and Autobot Lancer. We're going to take a look at both of these figures because we did take a look at Greenlight earlier, and that's pretty much going to be identical to her. And we haven't looked at her, but I know what we're probably really interested in is combining all of the fembots together to make the combined form. So let's get started on that. So first, let's take a look at Lancer in the box. The outside of the box is cardboard box, very much like what Greenlight and even that G2 Megatron had. So there's not a whole lot going on with it. But admittedly, I kind of dig this much simpler look to the packaging. Maybe it's just because it's something a little bit different. And you got a sticker here that has the name and help seals up the box. Now, let's go ahead and ruin this thing's collector's value and open it up. All right. Oh, upside down. So she comes stored in a plastic tray. You got the instructions behind her. Got all of her parts up there. And yeah, she's also very, very bright. Wow. I've seen pictures of her before, but was not expecting it to be as bright. I mean, it's one thing to look at pictures, it's another thing to feel it, in person. Let's get her out of there and take a quick look at her before we move on to elita-one. And here she is out of her packaging. Looking really cool. I dig the bright colors on it, but I think I've already established that I kind of have a thing for neon colors. And I think I also kind of really like bright orange, as we've seen with the Master Blaster Gundam and the the Scramble Gundam. But she is pretty much the exact same figure as her sister, partner, whatever, Greenlight. The main difference is the paint layout and her head. Let's zoom in on that real quick and take a look at it. And here we are. Wow, she's so bright, it's kind of making it look like she's glowing on the camera. But she's got orange helmet, purple face. The camera cannot focus on her to save its life. Wow. And silver accents that make her very striking. It is very, very cool. And the little tiny paint app to the lips is a nice touch that just sort of makes the face pop a little bit. Articulation-wise, let's see if this new helmet affects anything. Nope, it can go all the way around. Looks pretty darn cool. And real quick, here's a comparison between her and Greenlight. As you can see, they're almost the exact same mold. It's just the heads that are different and the way they laid out their paint apps. So she's got a solid purple chest, though it actually looks like they used two different color purples here. Then she's got a silver accent here, while here you got the two-tone green and yellow with the white accents there, white there, no silver. And then some other details are pulled out in different ways. It's always kind of cool to me when you see Hasbro try to do things with the paint to make the characters that are the same mold look a little bit different. And real quick, here she is with Moonracer and Nova Star. Very cool to see all of them together. And last but not least, Chromia, which uses the same sort of skeleton for the mold, but is otherwise a completely different toy and cannot combine with the group. which is a bit of a bummer. Though I kind of wonder if maybe I'll be able to fan mode something, and maybe we'll check that out later. And here she is in vehicle mode. Since we already covered transformation in the green light mode, I figured we could go ahead and just skip that. And I gotta say, I really like the way they did the colors in this one. I particularly like the translucent purple over the silver paint. That just looks so freaking cool, especially under these lights. And again, I am just loving this orange, bright neon color paints and everything. She still rolls fairly well. You just got to make sure that, you know, everything's in alignment, as it were. And it's a pretty cool looking mode. Dare I say, I think I actually like the way this looks a little bit more than I do on Greenlight. Speaking of which, here's Greenlight, along with Dazzle Strike. I forgot to mention that before. So you can see where they have some paint apps in common, but they did change things up. So like, you know, you have the little part that sticks up there as opposed to the way it is here, and just the general layout of colors and stuff. And again, I think that's really cool. It's a neat way to basically have two identical figures but make them look different enough just through paint alone. Something that Hasbro is fairly good at. We also have Nova Star and Moonracer over here, though can't quite get them to line up. And something that I just noticed, Nova Star has the exact same weapon as Lancer here. But it's pretty cool to see all of them together. And can't forget Chromia as well. They almost look like a rainbow kind of going there, don't they? Anyway, these are pretty cool. I mean, yeah, it's kind of silly that I've effectively bought the same mold 4 times and a half over, but the results are pretty nice, so I guess I can let that slide. Let's take a look at elita-one now. Alright, so now we've gone back in time from Siege, War for Cybertron Trilogy to Power of the Primes. Though really, packaging-wise, they're not too horribly different. We got the Transformers logo on the side, Power of the Primes down here, elita-one, yada yada. Got a cool illustration of elita-one here, something that was lacking in the Autobot Lancer packaging, but that was because that particular version of the packaging does not have an illustration on it. We got her packaged in robot mode. We can see her weapons, the Autobot Enigma, and the 2 feet armor things. On the side, we get a glimpse of things to come. This is the original illustrations for what they were calling at the time Elita Infinite, which I can't remember what they all said combined with her at first, but you can see Jazz down there. Though obviously we're not going to be using Jazz for this. And then on the back we have a quick little write-up about her, just saying, "How will the resourceful and devout Autobot warrior wield the power of the Primes?" And then it repeats that in several different languages. It's one of the things I lament about on modern Transformer packaging. Because they decided to go with quadlingual packaging, it means that we no longer have room for bios and real detailed descriptions of the series. But we can move on from that, and that's what, you know, the Transformers wiki is for. So anyway, we got a CGI rendering of Elita in her robot mode and her jet mode, showing that she can do this, that, and the other, as other reviewers would say. And then a call out to the Prime Master gimmick, which I don't have any of these handy, so we're not going to be really seeing that, I'm afraid. But we will sort of see the functionality with the Autobot Enigma there. Then on this side, we see cool illustration of all the different Prime symbols. This was something that I thought was really cool that they added in, and I'd love to have like a shirt with these on there. On the top, we have sort of a window thing that just says Power of the Primes, choose your prime, and then it says that in multiple languages. And then on the bottom, just red with your basic Hasbro information thing. The camera doesn't even want to focus on it. That's how boring it is. Let's open her up and take a closer look. So here she is in her robot mode with everything she comes with, including the instructions, and I forgot they did these, little collector card. This one is elita-one with Prima. Powers up to battle the hordes of Unicron. That's kind of cool, though I think it would have been cooler if she had come with an Alpha Trion card because of their connection in the G1 cartoon. These are the instructions. We'll set those aside right now. So let's go ahead and get her all equipped up. We can take the Autobot Enigma and just pop it in here. This is a slot that any Prime Master or even the Titan Master, Headmaster things can go into, I believe. She's got little pegs down here that I've never opened before, and they're being difficult. There we go. And we can even take the little blaster things and put them up here, apparently. It's a very tight fit. These things are absolutely caked in black paint. I don't know how exactly I feel about that. Anyway, so according to the instructions, they go up here, like this. Is that really how it's supposed to look? Yes. They just stick off a lot farther than I would have thought. They also... no, that's just the elbow being tight. There we go. God, that was a terrifying sound. Come on, there we go. Can you tell I just got her out of the package? Okay, let's get her posed a little bit. Not too bad. Since we haven't looked at her before, let's go ahead and do articulation, starting with a quick look at the head. So here's her head, and I really dig the sculpt on this. It looks pretty cool. It's on a standard ball joint, so it allows for full rotation. Can look up and down a little bit, so not too bad. She can look up fairly well, which is good for flight poses, I guess. Not entirely certain if I care for the salmon pink thing going on. In the original cartoon, she had more of a regular pink or hot pink look going on. But I can understand why they would want to stay away from that a little bit, especially since the color scheme that elita-one did have was very much the same color scheme as RC. And it'd be nice to, have her own identity, as it were. Which is funny, I say that considering that this mold is actually a retool of a Starscream toy. Oh well. Alright, so articulation for the rest of the body. Arms are on a ratchet joint, which allows for rotation around. The wings are going to prevent things a little bit, but you should be able to get around. These things are causing a lot of trouble though, so you know what? Off they go. We don't need them right now. I didn't even really care for how they looked anyway. You also have a ratchet that goes up like that. So you can rotate it around and get the arm high up there, as if to say hello to a educational professional. No? You can't even see it on screen? There? Like that? No? Moving on. Elbow joint bends at 90 degrees. There appears to be no articulation at the wrist. You have a panel thing that moves over here, but that's just for transformation. Does look kind of cool though. Close that back up. Let's see. There is no waist articulation, which isn't too surprising because of the fact that she's a combiner torso, but is still a little disappointing. She can kick up a little bit, the way her leg is designed, it bumps into her waist. So it looks fairly good, but it feels a little bit more limited to me than it should. Knee can bend about 90 degrees. Again, because the way everything is shaped, it looks a little bit different than 90 degrees, but I'm pretty sure that counts as 90 degrees. The toe can do that for what it's worth, and there is no other articulation there. Now, let's see. She can do a fairly mean splits, though. On her back, her wings can move forward and back, so you can position them like you want. And these can go perfectly flat or angled a little bit. I'm kind of digging them like this because it gives a little bit more room for the arms. So yeah, not the most articulated figure in the world, though the ratchet joints are nice and clacky and seem to provide some pretty good stability. And I will say this, the joints on this figure feel very tight. I am happy with that. So, while she can't go into a huge range of poses, I think she can make use of it, at least for a little bit. One jump cut later to plug in the camera because the battery was starting to run low. We are now ready to transform her into vehicle mode. Bear with me, folks, because this is the first time I've done it. I will be referring to the instructions, so you may hear rustling of paper and stuff like that. Anyway, so to start off, we're going to take her backpack and rotate this around. Please. Please? There we go. There's a little part that kind of was pegged in back there. Now we're going to flip these down, bring her legs together, and then it looks like, oh, we're going to collapse them down. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Now she looks really short. Oh, this amuses me far too much. All right. Okay. Oh, we're getting things a bit more pegged in together. Hold on a sec. There we go. Oh, and I felt like something clicked together there. All right. Yeah, oh, now she feels very solid. Okay. So now we're going to flip these parts all the way up. All the way up. Oh. Rotate the head around. And then make sure her arms are down. Oh, and there's little pegs right here. Though, come on. Is it going to peg in for me? There we go. At least somewhat. Oh, that probably would help. Just sort of locked the elbows back into position. They want to peg in, but they're not. That is weird. I don't know if I've got this thing not all the way in position yet or not. I guess we'll find out further down. Okay. So now that we've done that, we're going to bring these wings down, which there is a peg here and a hole here. So those will go together like that. And yeah, do not have this all the way in position. Hold on a sec, come on. Oh, there we go. Now everything is all lined up in position. Yeah, almost looks like I need to have these wings in place for that. Weird. Okay, so that goes like that. That goes like this. They're still not plugging in very satisfactory to me, but whatevs. We bring the nose cone down, flip these around. And there are some pegs and holes right there. Just sort of tuck the head there. I'm wondering if this is supposed to come out. No? So her hands are just going to be visible, I'm afraid. And flip these down. Do dig the little paint apps there. And she's got landing gear there. And we can now attach her accoutrements. Accoutrement? My mom always called them accoutrements. Basically all the extra stuff that came with your action figures. Put these back up. And then we can plug these to the underside of her wings to make her even less aerodynamic. And there we are. I think. Yep. I mean, overall, she actually looks pretty cool. These stickers, I bet, are going to be a problem, though. Hasbro went with these weird, really thin foil stickers that they put on and didn't do the best job. This one looks to be okay-ish, but there's already points like right here that are starting to come undone. Also, because they put them on here, there is molded detail underneath here that is just lost. It is gone because you can't see it because of the stickers. So at some point I may take these off and replace them with repo labels or something if I so choose. Anyway, now that I got her in vehicle mode and got everything sort of snapped together, she does actually feel very solid. Nothing is rattling around. So that's pretty cool. Underside is very much a robot underneath the bottom of a plane, but that's pretty standard for most Transformers, so can't get too upset over that. Is she swooshable? Yeah, I'd say so. Let's go ahead and take these off because I really don't care for them there. There's nowhere else to put them, unfortunately. I suppose we could attach them up here, but yeah, I dig it. I think this sticker here on the nose is a little lacking. But yeah, so now that we've had a chance to look at her in vehicle mode, let's go ahead and get to the main part of the program. We want to go see what she looks like in her combined form. So let's find the part in the instructions that show me how to do that. Ah, here we are. Okay. Oh goodness, lots of steps. Doesn't look like it's super complicated, it's just there's a lot going on here. But go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay, so we're gonna start by going ahead and taking off these things and putting that back in place. Now we're going to flip these back up and we're going to bring the nose cone back like this. And there are pegs and holes right there and there to lock things in pretty darn sturdily, actually. We're now going to pop the wings up, bring her around, and looks like we're going to uncompress her legs, get those back into position. Let's make sure everything stays together for right now. Now we're going to finally utilize these weird panel things. Somehow. Are we just opening them up? Looks like we're just opening them up. Oh wait, nope. So now they move up like that. There we go. Okay. And it shows us rotating the arms like that. Then bringing them up like this. There we go. And making sure I'm not missing a step here. Because it almost looks like there's something... I think they skipped something here, because I think this is supposed to go like, yeah. So I don't know if they're showing that in a later step or not, but I'm doing it now. I just realized you can't see what I'm doing. We're rotating this around, locking that into place. All right. So now we're gonna bring her around like this. And we're gonna move her legs in a funny way, it looks like. Yep. And let's see. Looks like we are opening her chest up somehow. Oh, like this. Okay. And bringing out her combine mode head. Provided it will let me... What the heck? What am I doing wrong? There we go. Close that back up. Yes, I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to close that back up. The instructions on this are pretty abysmal, I'm afraid. Which, that's not too surprising, if I'm honest. Now, is there some way to... we're going to flip the regular robot mode head around and in there. Like that. Hopefully you guys are seeing all this. Okay. And... what am I missing here? I sure hope I'm doing this all right. So, her head... Okay, so this flips out. There's this part right here that flipped out from here. It's going to connect over here, making a weird little bridge looking thing. This looks absolutely ridiculous right now. Okay. I think... Okay, I wasn't supposed to completely uncompress the legs, it looks like, because now we're looking like something. Let's see. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but it does look like there is a peg and hole, sort of a peg and slot thing going on that can combine these together. Okay, there we go. Not too bad, actually. Okay. So, what is the next part? Shows us flipping these down like that. Making sure I'm not forgetting something. Then it's showing us taking these and putting them up here, which I'm guessing now are supposed to sort of represent the little smokestack-like thing she had in her animation model. So that's actually kind of clever. Now we're going to flip her around. Let's go ahead and rotate the head around too, because I'm pretty sure this is where she's supposed to be. Let's see. Let's bring her tail fins down like that, because I bet that's where they're supposed to go. These go up and back, just like that, just sort of resting there. And then her wings move forward and accordion like that. And then we can open up a compartment in her chest for the Enigma, provided I can get it out. There we go. It should just fit right in the chest compartment here. It's just being difficult. There we go. Very oddly placed. Or appropriate, depending on what you think the symbolism is. Because it almost looks like it's more in where her womb would be. Which, I don't know, that's symbolic maybe? I don't know. She is a robot though, so... Anyway, I'm actually kind of surprised how solid she is. From all the pictures, I thought she was actually going to be very rickety, but actually, she feels pretty darn solid. So now, we need to figure out how to get the others into their limb modes. So after consulting the instructions, I found out that converting them into their limb modes is actually pretty easy. So let's go ahead and get started with our new girl here, Lancer. So we're going to take off her not hand-foot gun thing. And let's go ahead and make her a foot. And I've already did this with Moonracer here. And one difference is going to be that you see how her arms are up here like this. We're not going to do that because I don't think we really need to. Her and Greenlight here have the remolded arms and hands, which makes them a little bit different. Anyway, so let's go ahead, pop out the connector peg, and then we're going to bend her feet like so. Lift this up. Get that back into position. And you can see there's little pegs here. Just pop them in. And then everything is pretty well solid. So for the leg mode, we got this piece of foot kibble. It comes with elita-one. Just pop it in there. It doesn't feel very secure, but it's not necessarily going anywhere. We'll take that off. And we'll take this part and pop it in here. Give the foot a bit of a heel spur. And then I guess we'll just put the gun here for right now. And there we go. There's a foot. So now let's make an arm. And this one's even more simple. So, apparently we already got the connector plug out here. So now we just get that in position, rotate, bend, and then we're gonna turn this into a hand that has two thumbs like a Neo Sapien from Exo Squad. And there we go. And we can even go ahead and put Dazzle Strike in there because why not? Though it looks like she doesn't quite hold Dazzle Strike very cleanly. No, if you put it as a gun, it works a little. Just looks tiny. Okay. So, we got our other limb bots in limb mode. Let's go ahead and get them all combined together. But first, I think I need to readjust the camera. All right. So, let's go ahead, get the feet on our gal now. So we just slide the connector peg into the corresponding port. And oops, she's way too tall. Hold on a sec. Can't quite get all of her in frame, but we got most of her, so let's see if we can make this happen. Oh, forgot to pull out the connector port on this one. So this one, just slide down on the side. The port is right there at the shoulder. Oh, she's heavy on one side. Let's fix that. There we go. When she's trying to fall forward. This is the first time I've had her in this mode. Okay, there we go. Kind of bend the knees a little bit to change her center of gravity, maybe. This does not feel stable. Goodness. Okay. But there she is. It's not much, but it's a combiner. It certainly does what it says on the tin. The articulation on it is kind of what you would expect. You got rotation there and there, and the legs act as a knee, or sorry, an elbow. No torso articulation. And I'm gonna readjust myself here so I can look at things. You do get some hip movement. Those ratchets are not very strong though. And oh yeah, that is going to be a problem. Don't know if it's just mine or what, but the feet do not want to stay in place. And considering she's already not the most stable thing in the world, that is a problem. There we go. So it's about what you would expect for a Combiner Wars style combiner, maybe minus a little bit. She feels really flimsy, and that's not really good when you have a big, heavy combiner. I guess we can do some comparisons real quick. So, hold on. So first up, we'll compare her to a fellow Power Core combiner. Power Core? No. Power of the Primes combiner with Grimlock. I'm sorry, Volcanicus, who kind of towers over her, which isn't too surprising because, you know, Dinobots. But you can see a lot of the faults that combiner has are seen in this one as well. Sort of strange proportions and very flimsy design. Maybe there's a reason they're not so eager to go revisit combiners right now, which makes me a little sad because I'd love to see them, you know, improve on the idea. Okay. And next, we'll have Abominus from Combiner Wars. Actually, no, he was a Power Core combiner too, wasn't he? Not Power Core. I'm sorry. Power of the Primes as well. Though he is a lot more solid and feels a lot more like the Combiner Wars style figures did. Though again, he is leaning forward like the others do. Getting these guys to have their center of balance nice and steady is a bit of a trick. But there we go. And, you know, despite all the faults, they're combiners, so I still really, really dig them. I can't say I would necessarily recommend the elita-one combiner, but I don't regret getting it. So yeah, that's been a review. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff, and I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.